Hello and welcome to AMI This Week. I'm Victoria Nolan. We have a different look and feel today and for the next several weeks as we all do our part by staying home during this global COVID-19 pandemic. We're taking care of ourselves and our families by practicing social distancing, and we hope that you are safe and well wherever you are across the country. We know that navigating this difficult time can be stressful, and we want to do our best to stay connected. Thank you for joining us for this AMI This Week at Home COVID-19 special. Today, I'm coming to you from my home office in Toronto, and over the next half hour, we're going to be checking in with some of our reporters from across the country to find out how they are managing. To start things off, let's join our Toronto reporter, Alex Smythe. Alex, are you with us?
I am, Victoria. It's good to hear from you. It's been a while, so I hope you're doing well.
It's great to hear from you. It has been a while. And how have you been managing with this self-isolation?
You know, all things considered, I have to say I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually staying with my parents. We're self-isolating in Burlington, Ontario, and for people who don't know, that's about 40 kilometers or so southwest of Toronto. I made the decision very early on to come and stay with my parents because they have a nice big house with a backyard opposed to my tiny little 600 square foot apartment in Toronto. So I think I made the right choice on that regard. But what about you? How are you doing? I know you got a full household over there.
Yeah, we're doing okay now. It was rough at the beginning. My kids are teenagers. I think they didn't quite believe the seriousness of this, and trying to enforce some of the rules was tough. But we've kind of worked out our routines now, and I think they're a little more understanding of all of the rules that we need to follow at this time.
For sure. And so how have you guys been keeping busy? Like me and my parents, we've been doing a series of board games. I've been doing a lot of cooking and experimenting with my mom in the kitchen. So we've been kind of keeping busy that way. But what about you?
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I wish we were doing stuff like that. My husband and I, fortunately, we're still able to work. So we are on, conference calls and online a lot. So the kids are pretty much spending their days on screens as well. And some of that is school, but I think most of it is not. We do, at the end of the day, we look forward to a family movie night. And we've been taking turns picking movies, which has mostly gone well.
It sounds like there's been some kind of questionable choices in that mix, has there?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, they're teenagers. We'd had to veto a couple of movie choices there.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'll tell you, one of the biggest changes for me was the fact that the Olympic and Paralympic Games have been postponed. They were supposed to happen in Tokyo this summer. And as you know, Alex, I had decided to go back to training back in October. And I'd actually made the move out to Victoria and was training with the team. And we were ready to go to a qualification regatta when all of this went down. So now all the athletes have gone home. We're training on our own. And it's been a real challenge and definitely testing your mental fortitude to train through this.
I'm sure. And I'm really interested in finding out from you, kind of what are you doing for training? Because you're in a team sport. You can't exactly train to row on your own. So how are you and your team staying connected during this time?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's been tough. So we all have rowing machines. Most people had their own anyway, but if they didn't have one, clubs have been lending them out. So we have workouts that we do individually on the rowing machine, which, it's not the same as being with your team and being on the water. One thing that we're doing to help motivate is we're sharing the results of those workouts. So I think that's been really helpful to, you know everybody else is working and you can kind of have your own competition within the group. So that's been helpful. One of the other challenges is we're used to doing weightlifting with pretty heavy weights, and now we got to figure out how to do it with just body weight. But I think all in all, we've been managing pretty well.
Well, you did say you have a couple of teenagers at home. I mean, you can always get desperate and lift them up for your weights when you need to.
Yeah, if I can get them out of bed, I could do that, yeah.
It's a new wake-up routine. That's how you wake them up. You just pull them out of the bed.
That's definitely been another challenge is education. So as you know, everything's online now, and it's been really tough to motivate them. And I think the main thing that we've realized is that, we're all stuck under the same roof. We need to definitely lower the expectations a little and avoid the conflicts if we want to survive this. So it's, simplifying the goals and just trying to complete smaller, more achievable goals each day.
I'm sure, like it must be so challenging. Like, I mean, the entire system has almost been flipped on its head. Where everyone's trying to figure out how to manage, from teachers to parents to students and everyone in between. So how do you think the transition has been so far for the education system, for transitioning to online learning? Do you think it's going well, all things considered?
I think there are definitely some positive things that have come out of it. I don't think it would be wise to go this way completely. But it's definitely been good. I know, especially for my husband, in terms of keeping track of students' work. Everything's online, so you have it all there. It's easy to respond to. So communication-wise, it's been really good. But there are definitely some kids who are going to fall through the cracks who need that, in-person assistance. So I think a combination of both in the future would be the best idea.
Well, certainly no student can claim that their dog ate their homework now if everything's online, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, we're both in Ontario, how do you think the government and our provincial leaders have been dealing with this?
I have to say, I have been very impressed with the response from Ontario. Before the pandemic, I was not a Doug Ford fan. I didn't like his platform when he was going up for election. I did not support his views on overhauling education and healthcare and the services that we had in place. But since the pandemic started and the lockdown started, he has really stepped up to the plate. He's listened to the scientists. He's listened to the experts. He has put the well-being of Ontarians ahead of what his political views or party platform was. He's investing in education programs. He's investing in the healthcare. These are both things that he wanted to overhaul or alter before things got started. So he has really risen to the occasion, and I think he's earned my vote based on everything I've seen so far. What about you?
Yeah, I completely agree. I was pretty shocked at how he was handling the whole thing. Like you said, listening to the experts. I'm so happy that he's been doing that and taking things slowly and not rushing into making, rash decisions. So I think definitely for once I'm proud to be an Ontarian. I think it's been handled really well.
For sure, for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and it was great to catch up with you.
Yeah, same here. It was great to hear from you and chat with you. Hopefully we can do more of this in the future.
Sounds great. Coming up after the break, we'll check in with Laura Bain and Beth Deer, our East and West Coast reporters. Stay with us. This is AMI This Week at Home, COVID-19 special. You're watching AMI This Week at Home, COVID-19 special. Welcome back. I'm Victoria Nolan, and today we're checking in with reporters across the country to find out how they're doing during this global corona outbreak. Joining me now is Laura Bain from Halifax and Beth Deer from Edmonton. Hey, ladies.
Hey, Victoria.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having us, Victoria.
It's great to hear from you both. Laura, let's start with you. How are you doing during this time of self-isolation?
Yeah, well, I am certainly isolated because I am here in my apartment and I live alone. So I guess like pretty much everybody, I'm working from home these days. But I really don't mind that all that much because I'm a little bit of an introvert. So I'm finding that this is giving me time to pick up some hobbies that I'd put down, take up some new hobbies. I just started playing my ukulele the other night for the first time, and it has to be a couple of years. But of course, living alone and having a disability, there are some challenges like getting errands done and things like that. And of course, I'm missing my family and friends. So I feel like overall, I'm coping, pretty well given the situation.
Yeah, I think it's kind of gone on longer than we all anticipated. So I know for me personally, like my spirits have kind of been a bit of a roller coaster up and down. Have you been managing to stay connected with your family pretty well?
Yeah, I have, and it's been my family that's been helping me with bringing me some groceries. My mom actually just brought me a whole pumpkin pie today, so I think she must have had a little bit of time on her hands. But of course, our visits are all distanced, and they're wearing masks, so not quite the same. But I've been connecting with people a lot over the phone and over FaceTime, and I'm finding that because we have so much extra time now, you really can get into some of those more meaningful conversations with people. So I'm missing the face-to-face interaction, missing hugs, but still feeling relatively connected to people.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, for all of the challenges that we're facing, we're also coming up with some positive things, and I'm sure we're going to come out of this with new hobbies and new things that we've learned. So there can be a positive side to it. Mm-hmm. Beth, how about you? How are you doing with everything?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. I mean, I'm not an introvert. I am very much an extrovert. So for me, having to stay at home by myself, just with my animals and my boyfriend, is actually fairly challenging just because, well, I'm talking everyone's ear off 24/7. But I mean, working from home definitely has its challenges, but it also is really nice to just be able to, get myself into like a really good home routine, trying to work out lots, trying to give my animals lots of time to, help them not be as restless as I feel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that leads me into my next question, which is, how's your guide dog Patronus doing with all of this?
He misses going into the office and seeing his work friends. He really, really misses everyone. I can just tell, like every morning when I get up and I feed him, he's kind of waiting to go to work, and he hasn't quite figured out yet that work is now at home.
Yeah, it's been a challenge with my guide dog as well. I think especially the mental stimulation that's missing is something that's frustrating him for sure.
Oh, definitely. And I've had to cut back on his food a little bit too, because he's not going out as much, which he is not happy about.
Yeah, definitely. And your family is overseas. Are you managing to stay connected pretty well with them?
Yeah, I am. And it's funny for me just because in terms of the way I connect with them, it hasn't really changed, because obviously they're 7 hours ahead of us in time difference and 9.5 hours away from us. So we always connect over FaceTime and Messenger, and it's a totally different situation over there too. So it's been interesting for sure.
Yeah, another hurdle to overcome for sure. I wanted to ask you both for your perspectives on your respective provinces. How are things going over in Nova Scotia, Laura?
Yeah, I think in Nova Scotia, we had a little bit of an advantage over some other provinces, especially where you are in Ontario. And that's because we were one of the last provinces, if not the last province, to have cases of COVID-19. But we brought in the same kind of lockdown and social distancing measures at the same time as the other provinces did. So that's kind of managed, it's helped us to kind of keep our numbers a little bit lower. And from what I'm hearing from everyone I'm talking to, family and friends, what I'm seeing on Facebook, people are feeling fairly positively about how things have been handled in Nova Scotia. Definitely everybody's getting restless. Our premier said in one of his press conferences, he told people to stay the blazes home, which is definitely a very maritime way of putting it. And that's been popping up on t-shirts and things like that. But I think we're all just doing our part to try and stay home and keep everybody safe, but definitely hoping to be able to, bring this to an end and get out and enjoy each other's company sooner rather than later.
For sure. But it is great to see everyone, getting behind leaders and, following the protocols, and it's definitely helping with morale. How about you, Beth, in Alberta? How are things going?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a hard time for everyone, but everyone is listening to obviously what we're being told to do by the government, and people are staying home, are working from home if they can. And again, in the grocery stores, there's always a big lineup outside. They're only letting X amount of people in. And it's just hard for everyone, I think. But we're very lucky that we live in a wonderful country where people are respectful of the rules and listening to obviously what they're being told to do. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, interesting times for sure. Well, thank you, ladies, both of you, for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks. It's been really nice to connect with both of you virtually.
Yeah, you too.
Coming up after the break, we will check in with Montreal's Jesse Archambault and Vancouver's Grant Hardy. Stay with us. More to come on AMI This Week at Home, COVID-19 special. You're watching AMI This Week at Home, COVID-19 special. Welcome back. I'm Victoria Nolan. Joining me now from Montreal, AMI Tele journalist Jesse Archambault and Vancouver Bureau reporter Grant Hardy. Hey guys.
Hi, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
So it's great to hear from you both. Jesse, let's start with you. As I mentioned, you're in Montreal, which has the highest number of cases in the country. How do you feel people are coping there?
I know, I live in quite the hot spot. I guess when you watch the news, it really seems like it's chaotic in Montreal and everyone's scared, but then you walk out in your neighborhood, go for a stroll, and everyone's smiling and saying hi and how's it going. You just don't feel the stress. You don't feel the anguish at all from just walking down the street. Maybe a little bit more when you go to the grocery store or the pharmacy, but I'm pretty sure that's the same everywhere really in Canada.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, as much as this is a challenging time, I know there's also been a lot of positive sides, and it's really bringing people together. And so it's good to hear that spirits are up anyway. How have you been keeping busy?
I've been keeping really busy, surprisingly. Maybe not the first week, but now I got a plan every day. I got my plan, so I still get to work, so that's very fortunate. My living room has turned into a television studio, so we started production again. I got tripods and cameras, wires, laptops all over the place. It's an obstacle course every day to go from the couch to the kitchen. And then when I'm not working, I do exercises more than I've ever done before.
Yeah, my husband and I were joking that when people come out of this, they're going to be a lot fitter and with much cleaner homes.
That will be me, for sure.
What can we expect coming up from AMI Tele?
We have a new show starting on June 6th from my living room, Plan Large, which will be regrouping different stories that I've done in the past few years. And they're all grouped up in different themes. So we start off with hockey and all the different ways you can adapt the sport.
Oh, awesome. Well, let's move on to you, Grant. How are you feeling about this self-isolation?
Well, I think, I have to acknowledge that I'm by no means the worst off or have kind of the short end of the stick. But I have had to reach out to my loved ones for help with grocery shopping and some of my other needs like that. Because, a lot of the grocery delivery services are slammed. I am getting a little restless. It's spring and summer, my favorite seasons. And I'm just kind of watching as the days go by, all of our traditional, summer activities, even the Pacific National Exhibition, have been canceled or tentatively canceled. And it's tough sometimes. But I understand we need to tackle this crazy virus. We need to do what we're supposed to do and stay home and stay safe. So I'm just trying to limit my exposure to the news and take things a day at a time.
Yeah, I agree. Taking it day by day is definitely the way we need to look at things. So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy each day?
Well, I think I have to really acknowledge how fortunate I am to be working for Accessible Media and have the opportunity to do production from home. As you know, the show, we're ramping up. We've got some great content in the pipeline, and it's such an incredible learning experience for all of us. Who would have thought that I would be shooting videos from home, so that's really cool. But also trying to keep busy. We have access to LinkedIn Learning, so it's a good chance to brush up on some skills and learn some new ones. I've always loved music, so listening to a lot of tunes and reading to pass the time. I'm still seeing my girlfriend regularly, which is great. Not seeing my family, although we do have a weekly family conference call, which is a great opportunity to check in and see how we're all doing. I guess I have the stereotype as, the tech guy, but as fun as tech gadgets are to play around with, they're also great for keeping in touch with loved ones at a time like this.
You definitely have an advantage being tech savvy, because I think a lot of people have had to take a crash course in technology to stay connected. So I wanted to ask you both, how are things going in your respective provinces? So Grant, why don't we start with you? How do you feel like your leaders are doing, and how's the province of BC doing?
Well, I actually feel very patriotic to be living in Canada and living where I am, and incredibly fortunate as well. We are under the leadership of our public health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, who just has an incredible list of achievements, including working for the World Health Organization, as well as dealing with the SARS outbreak in Ontario. Our government may not be perfect, but I think they're doing the best that they can to equitably, hand out benefits to people and make sure people are as supported as possible during, this kind of caught everyone off guard, but I think BC in particular, we're not lucky that we had some early cases, but it did help bring the right public messaging to us early on. And at the end of the day, when our leaders and our politicians can offer press conferences and we can be like, yeah, I'm supportive of what you're doing, instead of kind of cringe with, oh, did they just say that? Then I think we have to really acknowledge how fortunate we are.
I agree. And I think this is a huge part of people's morale, how they're feeling about it. You have to have the trust and faith in your leaders. So I think you're right. We were very fortunate. Jesse, how about you in Quebec? How do you think the leaders in the province are doing as a whole?
I think we have quite the power team that does a press conference every day at 1 to inform the population, answer the questions. If they don't have the answer, they will find it and make sure they have the answer for us the next day. So it's the Premier, François Legault, with the Minister of Health, and the Director of Public Health, which, so he's become quite the celebrity here in Quebec. Like, overnight, he is the most famous person. He's got t-shirts with his picture on it. He has dance moves that people are doing, and he now has a beer named in his honor. So Dr. Horacio Arruda is his name. So we got celebrities that are transparent, politicians, and they're there and they're answering all the questions for the general public.
Oh, it's so great to hear, again, to have, that positivity and the faith in your leadership. It's so important. Well, Jesse and Grant, thank you so much for spending time to share with us how things are going. It was great to hear from you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to reconnecting in person once this is over.
I want to thank all of the reporters for opening up and sharing their thoughts during these challenging times. We are all in this together, and we all need to continue to do our part by staying home for the health and safety of ourselves and others. Remember, be kind to yourself, show kindness and compassion to others, establish routines, avoid fake news, exercise, and most importantly, stay connected to friends and family and us here at AMI. Once again, thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye and stay well.
Host Victoria Nolan. Reporters Laura Bain, Beth Deer, Grant Hardy, Alex Smythe. Journalist AMI Tele, Jesse Archambault. Media Accessibility Specialist Simone Cupid. Editor Mark Aflalo. Senior Producer Michelle Dudas. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2020, Accessible Media Inc. An AMI original production.